Jefferson Parish. And like my paternal grandmother, she was also the matriarch of the neighborhood. You know, everybody came to her house. She was well known. And her name was Emily Pugh, P-U-G-H. But everybody called her Miss Emily. And back when my first son, Brandon, that you all know now, was born, my wife and I brought him down to see her, to visit the family. You know, it was our first child, and we were very excited to, you know, to show him off to my family of origin. And so we walked into her house, Miss Emily's house. And I had Brandon in my arms, and she was sitting on a chair that she always sat in, watching TV. And I came in, and I walked over to her, and I said, "Hi, Mama." We called her Mama because we did, and we called my mother by her first name. Long story. "Hi, Mama. This is this is my son Brandon." And there was absolutely no response. It was like she hadn't heard me. And I'm going to my head, well, you know, she's elderly now. Maybe, you know, I hadn't seen her in a few years. Maybe she's just losing her hearing. So I just said, "Mama, this is Rodney, you know, Brandon." And still, no response whatsoever, like I wasn't there. And I'm saying, well, something's wrong here. And I'm looking around the room, and you know, everybody's sort of looking away. Then sort of, no. You know, she's suffering from some kind of dementia. And it turns out she had Alzheimer's. And no one had told me. And it was just, well, we all have family of origin stories, so unfortunately it's not that unusual a story. But I found out later that the reason they didn't tell me was because apparently there's some kind of stigma in the black community attached to Alzheimer's or any other kind of quote-unquote mental illness. The reason they didn't tell me is because they were actually ashamed. It was very, you know, this was a long time ago, like, well, not that long ago, 86. But it was just, the whole thing was so strange. But we were there a few days, and I remember just seeing her and watching my mother interact with her. You know, if any of you have dealt with people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, in terms of caretaking, especially if you're family members, you know, it's like a role reversal. The mother becomes the child, and the child becomes the mother. And it was just a very touching scene. And when I got back home, actually, nothing happened for a few years. Then I started having these little vignettes about, you know, what it must have been like for her. I wasn't actually there because I was up here in Boston at that point. And I wrote the song. It's called Miss Emily. Emily walks down to the new in Dixie. All the way she's talking to herself. When she gets there, she just keeps on talking, conversing with the groceries on the shelf. White folks, they pretend that they don't see her. The colored shake their heads and they force a smile. But Miss Emily don't care what folks think about her, no, no. She just pushes her empty basket down the aisle. 'Cause Miss Emily lives in a land uncharted. She has slipped into a room that has no door, to a land where none can follow, to a place where none can go. Family, see, she don't remember anymore. The family sits by that big bay window, a cotton rag held loosely to her lips, watching as the world goes by without her, like a landlocked sailor watches ships. She don't know me and she'll never know my children. I wonder if she knows that Bam was dead. I wonder if her heart still holds those dear sweet memories of the life of love and laughter she once led. 'Cause Miss Emily lives in a land uncharted. She had slipped into a room that had no door, to a land where none can follow, to a place where none can go. Miss Emily, see, she don't remember anymore. The family came down the stairs one morning, yes she did. I thought I saw a light shine in her eyes, but then that light had faded, Lord, and the tears began to fall like a cold dark rain from winter skies. The family, she passed away one evening. Now she's with the Lord that she adored. No way to know for certain, but I sure do believe that all her memories have been restored. The family lived in a land uncharted. She has slipped into a room that had no door, to a land where none can follow, to a place where none can go. The family, she did not remember